Hi, good morning Cisco Live. I'm Jen Hollingsworth and I'm sitting here with Dave Ward, Chief Technology Officer of Cisco. Dave, how are you enjoying Cisco Live so far?
I'm having a great time. The energy around here is absolutely spectacular, and the DevNet Zone is completely packed, which makes me pretty pumped up.
Awesome, awesome. So what is your favorite thing about the DevNet Zone, besides vBrownbag, of course?
Well, my favorite part is that it's made it another year, and it's bigger than last year and better than last year, with more learning labs, more education sessions, more demos, more hands-on, and lots of Cisco subject matter experts here to not only show off what the work's been done, but also to help all of the guests here and CCIEs here get into adding development and that aspect of their career. So it's awesome.
Excellent, excellent. So are you going to Aerosmith tonight?
Damn straight.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. What one song do you hope that they play?
Walk This Way.
Awesome. So kind of a couple things I've heard a little bit of buzz about. Group-based policy, I know that's something I can personally say I've heard you speak about. Can you give our audience here a little bit about, from your perspective, why that's important?
Well, so group-based policy, really we need to build this up for a second, Jen. So, over the last couple of years, all of the news in the trade rags has been about virtual overlays and being able to connect workloads and spin them up instantly and have them connected. Interesting, necessary, not sufficient. And so it's not sufficient because, think about the way a whole stack would work. There's a physical underlay, you have to fire up your workloads and connect them together with a virtual overlay. But here, on the networking side, the whole point is to deliver a service. So we think of this now, and I'll talk to you in a second about all of the innovation that we've done, a service overlay, and then the policy and intent that you actually want to have the business perform. And that's group-based policy is a new API layer on top of or integrated into SDN controllers to be able to easily thermometer bird push, I want this service deployed. And group-based policy makes it really easy to do that because you define your service chain as endpoints, you can set up contracts between them, and it's worked out really well. So not only is this in SDN controllers like Open Daylight, but it's also in OpenStack now.
Excellent, excellent. So I hear a little bit about, actually Open Daylight, talk to me a little bit more about that and how that's maybe making group-based policy a little easier in OpenStack.
So Open Daylight is one of my favorite topics. I mean, we've been working on this for a couple of years now, and it's in product, not only our products, but it's also in other companies' products, so it's really become an industry event. But we're here in the DevNet Zone, and what's really interesting about this is it is an open controller platform that IT professionals, networking professionals, solution architects can use to deploy their service, their solution incredibly rapidly. And so that's really, really key. Again, back to the group-based policy, that's just another way to express and build an application on top. And Jen, as you know, right around the corner here in the demo and innovation zone of DevNet Zone is where you can see all of these applications and services in action. And what becomes interesting is Open Daylight as an SDN controller, the applications and demos that you see, we're planning on open sourcing topology visualizers, and then the applications built on top. Also built on top of Open Daylight, you can see how we're doing internet data analytics and focusing on routing protocols. And so making this all magical SDN relevant to networking professionals and showing the applications on top that are being built is what you find here and what you're going to see emerging in the industry over the next little bit.
Awesome, thank you. So what would you say is the one most important thing that we need to get right going into next year?
So, you know me, Jen, it's not just one thing, it's a couple of things. There's a lot of things for a lot of work for all of us to do. But what we landed this year was kind of the workflow for professionals where we integrated our demo cloud, and so into DevNet. We built out one-touch sandboxing, and this enables us to go from demo to learning labs to one-touch coding. And so that progression for a networking professional or a CCIE or a Cisco customer, that whole workflow of how to get from this isn't the way we used to do it to where we need to transition this, that was a great move in the last year. So where do we go next year? So where we're going next year is a huge focus on IoT applications and developers and being able to build out IoT-based solutions. Next one is incorporating cloud into the network and cloud development into network SDN. And then, of course, on top of that is continuing to extend and expand SDN controllers. So those three big focuses is what you're going to see coming in Cisco Live Berlin, and then again Cisco Live US next year.
Very cool, that's exciting. So what role do you think IPv6 plays, or how important is that as we move forward in building out IoT solutions?
I like these zingers, Jen. Let's go from one topic to another, rapid fire. I'm in the zone.
You know me, Dave.
I'm in the
All
zone.
The things.
IPv6 is interestingly a religious topic on the internet, as most folks know who've been around for a while. And what I see as the most important part of v6, because we can finally cash the check that it's widely deployed, is that in a data center, via the unlimited addressing of IPv6, you can collapse and converge your overlay into your underlay. And one of the things that I'd like to see happen in the industry is not have all of these multiple layers that need to be managed. It's a huge operational hurdle. It's a lot of extra complexity, and what's really interesting, and quote, the killer app of IPv6 is reduced complexity, and in this case in a data center where you can reduce the overlay and the underlay into one flat addressing scheme and take massive complexity out. And so v6 is here. We're seeing the expansion and the amount of traffic on the internet growing, but the utility of it, and it's not just more addresses. Actually, if you think about what you can do with that technology and with that addressing scheme, you can take complexity out of the network. And I think a lot of our customers and colleagues in the industry have started to do that in their data centers.
Right.
And of course, all the way into the home. Now, I'll keep rambling. So,
Love it.
So riffing a bit more, IPv6 is the cornerstone for IoT. So when in the last 5 years, we added 8 billion things onto the internet, with mobile telephony, and projections are that we're going to add 10 billion more things onto the internet extremely rapidly, 3 years, 4 years, whatever the case might be, but everything is going to be on the net and attached to the net and have an IP address. That IP address is going to be v6. And so the next killer app, another killer app for v6 is just going to be add instantaneously 10 billion or so more things onto the internet. But that means that we need to fully build out IoT and the developer environment and the management environment, addressing, naming, security, et cetera, directly on v6. And so that's my next point.
Awesome, thank you, Dave. So are there any maybe little hints that you can give our audience on what types of solutions that we may bring out next year for IoT?
So what you're going to see from IoT and what we're working on right now is the controller and application platform for IoT. So people can build custom and specific solutions to manage not only sensors, but groups of sensors. The next piece, and you see this in the magical big data and analytics, is that when you have a sense space like the DevNet Zone here, seeing things as a thermometer or as a light bulb or as a fan, just some basic stuff, managing those independently doesn't make any sense. We want to fuse that data together and have it represent what's being sensed in and of itself. And you can extrapolate that into a retail environment, into an enterprise environment, into a home or whatever the case is. So you need to have a controller platform. It's got to talk v6. It's got to be able to name, address, as well as run interesting things like data in motion for data deduplication. But fusing the data together to represent what's being sensed is what we're working on and what you'll be seeing at the next Cisco Live and DevNet Zone for sure.
Awesome, so all about data at the edge.
Absolutely. Data at the edge, computing at the edge. So let's move the conversation just one step forward, which is, let's think about what an IoT developer would do. First of all, they want to be able to say hello world in their application. But we have to remember that this isn't just a hello world application. It's got an edge computing component to it. It's got a thing management component to it. And we want that developer environment to be in the cloud, where I can build my application that's doing some sensor actuator stuff. I can build it in a virtual environment, and one click, hit deploy, and it's pushed all the way out to the edge compute and edge networking devices. That's the vision of where we'd like to take IoT development, and you can see in this Cisco Live, just the beginnings of that, and that's 100% of what we're working towards, and rotating our developer group, again, towards IoT, cloud, and SDN controllers. All of those wrapped together.
Awesome. So maybe one final piece of advice, if somebody is making that transition from kind of traditional IT into the next wave of what you've heard, bimodal IT or kind of the modern IT age, what is that one piece of advice that you would recommend that can help them maybe move their careers forward?
So, couple of things. So, one thing, that's always the challenge. What is the one thing? The one thing is learn the new technology that's coming at you. There's no chance that this wave is going to slow down at all.
Right.
The wave of programmatic interfaces, the wave of SDN controllers, orchestrating services, group-based policy. The number one thing is, even though it's new technology, don't fear the unknown. Get in, learn it, understand what it is. No one's career is going to be able to go through the entire cross-section of that whole stack and know everything there is to know about it. But know where your job and your position fits into that whole stack, and understand that you have to think about it as a whole stack, from the cloud all the way down to that thing and all the layers that I mentioned in between: policy, service, virtual overlays, physical underlays, and resource management. Know how your career and your job fits into that, and know how the rest of it works to a level that's necessary for your job. But you got to get into the tech to get it.
Right. So I think we need to take a full stack approach to looking at these problems.
Whole stack, Jen.
Whole stack.
Whole stack.
Oh gosh.
Hey, so I got a question for you. So this is
Not enough caffeine.
So this is your first Cisco Live and your first DevNet Zone experience. What did you capture from this?
Gosh, I've loved every moment. I think it's been a great opportunity to showcase the fact that Cisco is doing really awesome, relevant developer stuff. So I think traditionally a lot of people just see us as a hardware company, but we are also inventing some very cool things in the software space. So I think that has been the biggest win, and really great to see the response of our customers and partners, and of course, other parts of our employee groups here.
So I think that's a great point. Having partners at this Cisco Live and showing how Puppet can work on top of a Cisco platform, how you can create chef recipes to be able to control servers and networking and things like this. Bringing in those partner developer communities into DevNet itself is something new, and I'm glad you picked up on that, because it's a big effort to not only build the APIs into our OSs, but to bring whole communities that they can use what they're doing in their daily IT tasks to work directly with our platforms.
Right. Awesome. Excellent. So, okay.
Final thoughts from you. So if there's one thing that somebody needs to do coming into the DevNet Zone, what do they got to check out?
I mean, besides vBrownbag, I would say our learning labs are awesome. I've heard so many people just excited about getting their hands on and actually having support and help to take them to the next level, and realizing it's not as scary or hard as they thought it was. So I definitely would recommend checking out the learning labs. Yeah,
so the learning labs went from, I've never seen a REST API before, now in 101 classes all the way up to 301 and 401 classes for advanced development. And the learning labs have been packed, basically 24/7 since we've been here. And it's not only is it the ability to, again, you can see the demo of the technology that you'd like to be able to build, learn how to build the application on top, and then one-touch sandbox and have that exact same environment to be able to code to instantly. It's working out pretty well so far. And again, at different skill levels for people to come in.
Oh, sorry, and I heard there's a rumor that Ashley Roach actually said that we have had 14,000 completions since we started, actually since Monday to today.
God
so
damn,
in 2 days.
That's awesome.
Damn, we are seeing awesome all around. Excellent. So, final question, Dave. You've been in San Diego.
Our fourth final question in a row. Excellent.
Final thoughts? Now, final question. Okay, so you've been in San Diego for a couple days. Any food recommendations to our audience, because we know that you are the master of food pairings and wine pairings?
So you definitely got to go check out Gaslamp District and get some of that, Mexicali cuisine. It's awesome down here.
Awesome.
So,
Perfect.
Anything else, Jen?
I think that's it. Dave, thank you so much for being on vBrownbag, and of course, as always, here at Cisco Live. And thanks for listening.
Thanks, Jen.